I was thrilled to be named a fellow of AAAS. And, of course, it's gratifying to be recognized by your peers, but it's also an opportunity to amplify my voice.
I think it's a great honor to be nominated and elected as a AAAS Fellow. I have the certificate on the wall in my office under the air conditioning unit, just to show the students how cool it is.
I actually threw up when I found out, when imposter syndrome and all the things that happen when you get a big award sort of washed over me.
When you're a AAAS Fellow, not only do you have the pedigree around your research, but now you also can say, look, this is my responsibility and my duty to do service. I'm a roboticist, but I'm also an AI expert. And my first love was robotics. So very early on, when I was in actually middle school, I wanted to build a bionic woman.
So I sort of thought that I would become a physicist, but my maths wasn't good enough. And I had a very good memory as a child. It's still not bad. So I found chemistry relatively easy, and I really liked the bangs and the smells and so on.
I was a kid growing up in Queens, New York, interested in animals for some reason, but not with a lot of wildlife around me. I went to McGill University in Montreal specifically because they had a zoology program. So I am curator of fishes at Louisiana State University, which means I get to oversee thousands of these jars with different fish critters in each of them.
So on my first flight into space in 1993, I became the first Hispanic woman in space. I was able to fly on 4 space shuttle missions. After that, I had a variety of leadership and management roles at NASA. When I first went off to college, I wasn't sure what I was going to major in. So I went to talk to a couple different professors, and the engineering professor was clearly not at all interested in having me in his department. But fortunately, I got a much different reception from the physics professor.
As AAAS Fellows, having this title means that we have this responsibility to explain what a scientist does, but also help guide other people who want to become scientists.
So camaraderie with AAAS Fellows has been very meaningful to me. One of the things that has allowed me to do is have opportunities to double-click down on service, join some of the service groups through AAAS, and even being an editor of Science Robotics.
I'm a real believer in science diplomacy. In North Korea, there is a big volcano, and people feel that it may be due to go off again. The AAAS provided funding to UK volcanologists to collaborate with North Koreans to try and understand what happens underground in this volcano. I was Vice President of the Royal Society, the UK Academy of Sciences. I signed an agreement, and that really started everything off.
I first became interested in science communication really when I first became interested in science. I fell in love with science because of great science communicators like Carl Sagan and Neil deGrasse Tyson. I loved that ability and wanted that ability to explain complicated subjects to everybody.
I came to science communication on YouTube purely by chance. My university had engaged a talented video maker called Brady Harron. Brady and I got on really well, and he suddenly suggested, why don't we make one video about each element in the periodic table? I told him he was mad, but he persuaded me, and I found money to do it. And so in 5 weeks, we made 120 videos about the periodic table. And we thought we'd finished, but all the viewers were so excited that we've been going ever since.
So one of the things that I truly believe as researchers is not just our duty to create great innovations, great research, but it also is our duty to broaden participation, broaden access.
We want all the best minds working in STEM. And it's one of the reasons that I wrote my bilingual children's book series on STEAM. I started out with noting that science is about curiosity and creativity. These are attributes that come naturally to small kids.
For the next AAAS Fellows cohort, I say be bold in your exploration, be curious, in wonderment.
Fellows can and should also be involved in supporting scientists who face harassment for their research topics.
They should push more outside of their discipline because good science happens at the boundaries. Good science happens when you are pushing the uncertainty into areas that you may be uncomfortable with.
Many people, maybe most people, have never met a scientist. As a AAAS Fellow, I can show them that even in these higher echelons of recognition of a scientist, that we're all approachable, that we've all come from these diverse backgrounds. Allowing people to see themselves as a scientist in the position that I'm in, even though I came from a place of privilege, that they can find themselves a path to become a scientist themselves and maybe even a AAAS Fellow themselves one day.